Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Goins, and welcome to the All In on Real Estate Meetup. I started this meetup because when I was in the military, no one in my circles talked about real estate. They talked about thrift savings plan. They talked about debt, and taxes, and a whole bunch of other stuff like stocks and bonds. And a lot of times, people deploy, you see a lot more Dodge Chargers and pickup trucks on the road instead of appreciating value items like real estate. So I want to start a meetup as an educational platform so people can learn and build generational wealth for them and their families. So I am very, very excited for my guest speaker. Um, Pitbull is known as Mr. Worldwide, but I believe my guest is really the real Mr. Worldwide. Matter of fact, he is coming from another country right now. He's broadcasting live and correct from another country right now, and I cannot wait to dig in about this. So, Maurice, how you doing, man? Welcome to the All In Real Estate Meetup.
What's happening? With Lawrence, I guess I'm de facto taking your title and what have you, brother.
I gave it to him. I was one who gave it to him, man. So don't worry about it. He's good.
Okay.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you on here, man. And
Yeah.
like I said, we have a person who's always on here, Claudia, and she's broadcasting from Germany.
Right
And
on.
yeah, so she's always on here. So man, so look, I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna just go on and on and on with some questions for you.
Yeah.
I really don't want to focus too much on real estate as much. I want to talk about the benefits. I want to talk about your story because a lot of times, most meetups you talk about real estate, but let's talk about the benefits of real estate.
Sure.
And one thing that I love about you, man, is your post. You're real on your post. And one post you talked about was how that you're financially free because of the sacrifice that you did when you first started in the military. So could you just briefly just say how you became financially free?
Yeah. Well, thank you to the other 11 of you for spending time. And Claudia, I think it's either 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning for you. I don't know. It's 2 o'clock. Okay, so you and me are the same. 1 o'clock. All right. So I'm in Lebanon today. I'm actually in Beirut, Lebanon at the moment. I'll be here for the next week. In answer to your question, so I started in real estate in 2002 as a 23-year-old for the specific purpose of getting financially healthy. And then when I started working for my corporate firm, where I actually still am today, so I hope that comes up, whether or not you should leave a W-2 or if it's always makes sense or what have you. I started investing in single family condos as a means to buy them and eventually pay them off with this specific intent of creating a six-figure salary. I didn't know when I started exactly how I was going to do it, didn't care. I bought a place to live when I was 23. It was literally a place to live, though. It just happened to be at the beginning of the real estate boom in the early 2000s. It was worth 30 grand more 3 months later. And I was floored that I had just made someone's salary in 3 months. It didn't make any sense to me. So no Google back then, no podcast. I just went to the library. And I sat at the library for a day and I read 10 books in one sitting, never left. I could not understand why I did not know about this stuff. And that started this path of buying property, condominiums specifically, and I can tell you why later. But I bought one condo, bought another one, took my money from the W-2 and the military because I was in the reserves, bought another one, bought another one. Didn't care how I was going to do it, just did it. And over a 14-year period, I got up to 35, and then I sold a few, and then I found myself with 18 paid off condos and over a six-figure passive income. So I had more income coming in from real estate than I did from work. But it took a while. It was a slow grind, but it was worth it.
And I mean, that's awesome right there. I mean, I love that that you over the course of time, the sacrifice and the things that you put into,
Yeah.
not and knowing that it wasn't all peachy creamy. You know, it was some setbacks here and there, but you got to a goal. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs is that it seemed like it's a desert that's never going to end, and you're never going to get to that finish line or to land. And sometimes you get suck up in quicksand, and slowly you just go down a hill on your and you just quit or get out of it, but you persevere, do it, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I think people can persevere through anything when they know the purpose of why they're doing it. I knew I wanted freedom. That was just, it never left me. So when other people were out buying cars and getting too many mortgages, I wasn't. Actually, I just bought a cottage on the water in Maryland on the Atlantic Ocean, like 80 feet from the water. It is the first purchase I've ever made for myself. I still have never bought a new car. And I'm spending, a fair amount of money renovating it to make it what I want, because now I'm investing in lifestyle because I never invested in it before. So there's some sacrifice folks should make depending on what your goals are, but freedom was always my goal, and I got here because that's all I focused on.
Right. Absolutely. So take me back just to this point.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into condominiums, and what was your initial goal with condominiums?
It was happenstance. When I bought that first place, I ran into another a real estate agent, older lady, and I cannot remember her name. And it's 20 plus years ago now, so I'm not sure if she's still with us, because I recall her being in her late 60s. But she told me, listen, instead of going out to DC and buying like a huge dodo egg, $500,000 place, why didn't I consider buying $80,000 to $130,000 condos, which once you buy them, you just press the easy button. Condominium association takes care of the major stuff, and all I got to do is get a tenant in there and run it. So it's just how it worked out. I have bought single family homes, but over time, I got really good at locating condos in the $80,000 to $100,000 range in the Metro DC area. And I just kept pressing repeat. And the other thing is, and this is where I think a lot of folks make a mistake in real estate, is, yep, there was other shit that probably I could have made way more money, but that wasn't the point. The point was the condo thing was working, so I just stuck with it. Like, yeah, I know I got it. I can go out and maybe I can make 400 more cash flow here, but this is working, and I'm just gonna keep going on this process until it finishes.
Did you ever have now? I mean, I think that's so undercover brilliant, because people like myself has been the shiny light guy. I'm gonna go after here. Oh, this seems easy.
Yeah.
To go after that. This seems easy. I'm gonna go after that. Why did you say so disciplined? What kept you going? I mean, I understand when the money's coming is working, so I'm gonna keep on going. It's like basketball. If a guy's cooking, you keep on going to him until somebody stop him. But
That's right. Yeah.
First time, why didn't you stop? Because I know other things that might seem more appealing as you went along the course of time.
I just hadn't hit the goal yet, man. I mean, I made a plan. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone on this phone or on this call to think that I had this all solved at 23. I didn't. And I gave up my whole 20s. If you've ever seen any of my posts, find the one on entrepreneurial depression. I think I had it for a decade, because I wasn't going out on the weekends. I was doing toilets and painting and getting rid of bugs and all that stuff. But brother, the bottom line is it was working. So why quit on it? And I did hit a rough patch. I hit the rough patch of 2008 when the downturn happened. And while I saw a lot of my colleagues and friends bowing out, filing bankruptcy because half of my tenants stopped paying, half. It was nuts. I refused to quit. So I got a second full-time job. That's kind of how the police officer stuff started. So for 4 years, I paid 12 people's mortgages by going to work in 3 different places because I refused to quit. And those are the things that people will never see. So there was no question about whether I was going to finish the process, Aaron. It was just, I felt that it was going to get there, and I started to get there. 2012, things really took a change. And then by 2014, or maybe, 14, I had 18 paid off homes. So I was like, damn, this is pretty good. And I could have continued on that process, but here's the difference. Here's what happened. I wasn't growing anymore as a person. I could have just kept executing on the condo thing, but I realized I was executing the same skill that I started back in 2003. It was 11 years later. I needed to do something different, and that started the multifamily. But all that stuff was to live life extremely well. And to live life extremely well, we need time. And to create time, we need passive income. And, you know, I wasn't going to quit till I got it. So I got it.
So that was your foundational piece. And then
Yeah.
when you got into multifamily, you just expand from there. And now you can invest passively into deals or, you know, get into other things because now you have an income that's not only that income, but then you also had your military income and then, you know, other incomes you had too. So I think that's just brilliant. And, you know, it was a snowball effect, basically, you know, you have
100%.
one, you have another, and then it builds into multifamily. Now you have unlimited possibilities of what you was doing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And, you know, that's the thing. Like, I could have quit working. I get that. I had more money coming in from real estate than I did from an employer. I get that. But I never, to this day, the only time I've ever used real estate money on a personal need was to take my family to Italy once on a $10,000 trip. I have reinvested everything. I never once touched anything from real estate because I kept my corporate gig. I still have my corporate gig. So if you can imagine just reinvesting constantly what has started, and that's how I'm doing real estate development in the Mediterranean now. And Quattro Capital has closed on, we're closing on our 11th property next Friday in 14 months. Yeah, like the goals were more important than the lifestyle stuff. And I just kept doing it rather than buying junk. You know what I mean?
Right. So your passion is traveling.
Yeah.
So can you just expound a little bit more about how the benefits of real estate, the benefits of the hard work you put in, allows you to have this, what I call Mr. Worldwide, but for you, it might be something different, but you're able to do the things you really want to do. And what you like to do is travel. So, you know, like I said, I don't want to just talk about real estate, but I want to talk the benefits of it. And the benefit for you was doing what you want to do.
Yeah, the benefit is doing what I want to do, but I still have two jobs, but I am doing what I want to do. It's not so much travel, Aaron, as it is immersing myself in different cultures. I don't really travel like a tourist. I'm at a friend's house now, a very good friend's house, someone who's really special to me now. All this started when I was 15. I traveled to France to an exchange student's house who stayed at me the previous year. His dad drove us around when I was a 15-year-old knucklehead from Boston. And I experienced France in a way that most people will never experience it. And I just knew I wanted to be somewhere else. And I'm sure Claudia can attest to what Europe can do for you as a person. So I knew that was never going to stop. And what I have come to realize over time is there's three things that make me happy. One is being in love, right, with your family or with a significant other. Two is being loved by a community. So that means I am doing something good for people, whether it's the police officer stuff or volunteering overseas or something. When I know that I am loved by a community, that means I have done something good to impact them. But the third thing is constant learning. And for me, constant learning comes from immersing myself in different cultures or reinvesting myself in different places. So I'm in Lebanon today. Since November of 2019, the first time I got here, this is my 11th time here, coming here. I'm on 96 countries only because countries haven't been open for me to go explore. But what real estate has done is created an ability to bounce out anytime I want, because I know I don't, and my employers know as well, that I don't need to be there. They know that I'm still working because I want to be there. So they tolerate what I do as a person. So my trick, and I learned this by reading the 4-Hour Workweek, my trick is I don't wait for 2, 3, 4-week vacations. I take intermittent vacations all the time. And they're not vacations, they're experiences. So I was just talking to my friend now in Nicaragua. This place opened recently. There's this thing called Outside, but they opened a location in Nicaragua. I'll bounce down there in 2 weeks and I'll go for a few days and work from there. I feel like a kid, and that's the mistake we make as adults. We get into the real world and we just start pressing repeat every day. And the way that I have broken that up over the years is by traveling and meeting people all over the world and reinvesting in those relationships by showing up again and again and again.
So, and also you've been to Turkey, what, 17 times you said?
Oh God, no, man, 30, 35 maybe.
Okay. Okay. Oh
Yeah.
man, Edmund, I'm really wrong with that one, man. I was telling you 17 times, and I'm really wrong with that one.
Yeah.
So okay, over your course of career, you've been in reserves, you had a corporate job, you're a police officer currently, and a real estate investor, all the things. So what is your secret sauce? And what I mean is, how do you manage your time? Because I know education is been a big thing for you. So how do you manage your time throughout the day and the week? I mean, because what, you work at night too, right?
Yeah, I do.
So
I create time. I think sleep is necessary. Okay, so I don't want anyone to think like I am not one of those entrepreneurs who's like, oh, burn all the boats, never sleep. Bullshit. We need sleep. You get to where I am now in my mid 40s, you're gonna start feeling it, and everything is about health. If we don't have health, we don't have anything. But what I have gotten very good at, and it came from military lifestyle, is being up by 4 a.m. And I've talked about this before. I don't know if anyone's heard it before, but look, if you wake up at 4 a.m. and you work till 8 a.m., and by work, I also mean going to the gym, because that's critical to or going to the gym or meditating or whatever it is that you do. There's nothing that's going to distract you at 4 a.m. You're not going to go binge watch Netflix at 4 a.m. in the morning. You're just going to be productive. So I got into a habit of getting up at 4 a.m., working on the side hustle, which is now just about the full-time hustle. If you work from 4 to 8, that's 4 extra hours a day. That's 20 hours a week, 80 hours a month, 960 hours a year. You have created 5 weeks, almost 6 weeks of extra time. But forget about the 5-6 weeks. Just you are efficient at that time of day. I have always gotten into that. The second thing is, well, great. Well, you're working a lot. How are you managing with your employers to do what you're doing? Because I ask better questions. I never really asked them, hey, can I go work overseas for 7 years the way that I did? Or can I go to Lebanon this week? What I've always said, and I got really good at this, is, look, this is what I'm going to get accomplished. Here's the outcome that you need at work. How can you help me solve this? I've just always done it. So when I wanted to go back and play football as a grad student, because I didn't make it to the NFL when I was from undergrad, I just said, look, I got to go out and try out for the NFL one more time at age 25. I know other people work part-time. I'd like to start working part-time for you guys, and I'll figure this stuff out. I've just asked people better questions. But the biggest thing I've always done is create time, work from 4 to 8, hustle during the day, work from 7 to 9 p.m., take my butt to bed, and get up and do it again. And I've always done that. It's 2 a.m. in the morning here, and for the past 2 hours, I've been working on stuff because I want to, but I'll still get 8 hours of sleep, but the goals matter more. So if you really have goals, you're going to create time.
Man, dropped a lot of gems right there, man. A lot of gems. You being a police officer and all the scrutiny and things like that over the last year or so, but you still do it, and you still serve the community. But also, we have talked. Me and you have hit each other on LinkedIn about that. But is it all passion with every job you do? And then you'll stop because the passion is not there, or is it something else that says, well, Maurice, it's time for me to move on and do something else?
On the policing front, it's time for me to move on. I know that now. But the reason I became a police officer was just because when I deployed as a federal agent through the Air Force in 2002, post 9/11, I was doing some crazy stuff around the world, and a lot of it was helping people who just didn't have a voice. So when I got back to corporate America, I was like, I can't just sit behind a desk making somebody money. It was really bothering me. So I applied for every 3-letter thing you can think of in the federal government, and then I realized I just wanted to be in my local community. And I became a police officer, but I asked the better question at my corporate firm, and they let me do both at the same time. Well, my boss did, and we just never told anybody. So for 4 years, I just hustled, and she had my back the whole. She knew, like,
Yeah.
she knew why I went to my car to go sleep at lunchtime, but nobody else knew where I was at. It is all passion. I told you those 3 things that really make me happy, and one of them was serving community. Man, I get to do things and see things in the middle of the night that y'all can never comprehend, never. And the feeling that comes from, for example, pulling a burglar out of someone's home or a mom's home where she's home with her 2 kids and dad is not home, and we pull a burglar out and he's got a gun on him or something like that. I've done that maybe 6 or 7 times in my career. There is such a feeling of fulfillment that comes from that. I can't really explain that. So when I see on the news all the negative things that are happening with respect to law enforcement, I get it, and I have seen dumb shit too, and that needs to change. But in my case, it gets exhausting by, like, all these people are, we are all lumped into the same bucket.
Right.
But I'm still willing to go back out on the street and get it done. But I just realized now, as I was out on the street 2 or 3 weeks ago, I didn't want to be there, and that's a problem. And if I don't want to be there because my heart's not in it, then it's time for me to move on. So I just kind of made that decision. And when I go build this apartment complex in Cyprus, I'm going to serve that community in a different way. I'm just going to be of service in different ways now.
Right. Man, that's awesome, man. I mean,
yeah,
your story is just really motivating, and it just goes back to discipline. And I think that's something that, I mean, I struggle with. I know you talking on the phone. When I first talked to you, I told you my struggles.
man.
John Casman, I tell him in my struggles as far as discipline. But just seeing your post and seeing your life and then hearing today, discipline has been essential in your life because you want to accomplish everything if you didn't have that.
No.
How did you build your discipline up? To do this, because I mean, it's an everyday thing.
There was never. That's the thing. There was never there was no option. It was freedom or bust. There was the idea, and I know some of you are probably going through it now, but the idea of me working 9 to 5 and building someone else's business until I'm 65 years old, for the privilege of getting a pension and then traveling, no. The discipline part, I really think, came from being broke in college and having no money, having to get an ROTC scholarship, and then me calling mom when I was 21, like, Mom, I ain't got no money. She's like, I don't have any either. Oh shit. If Mom's saying she don't have none, then I have to do this. Nobody's gonna do it for me. I don't know. The 2 best business partners in the world are time and consistency. You just have to pick a plan and be consistent. You may not make as much money as other people. You may not make this or that, but people, for some reason, don't realize all you need to be free is more passive income than you have bills. So look, all of you, all you got to do is build your portfolio such that you get to $4,000 or $5,000 a month passively, keep your bills down, and technically, the world is like, you can literally disappear. I have a buddy who lives in Thailand now off $4,000 coming in off condos. He's never bought another piece of real estate since 2010, and he is free because his bills on a monthly basis are $1,000. People think you need 5, 10, 15, 20, $25 million to do it. No, you don't. You just need 60, 70,000 bucks passively, and you can go out and live the life that you want. Just everybody's stuck on this commercialism. I got to buy this. I got to keep up with the Joneses. I got to get a new car. Well, you're going to buy yourself right into having to be employed for your whole life. You'll never get out of the rut. Somehow, I conditioned myself not to do those things. Don't get me wrong. I made mistakes here and there, but I don't know, man. It just was not an option. And it is still not an option for my new current goals related to legacy, related to owning land and property internationally. I'm working just as hard now, if not harder, than I was when I was 25 or 28, because I have different goals. So now those goals are not an option. Just have to get them done.
All right. I got one more question. I'm gonna open up for everybody else, man, because
Yeah.
you just you're just knocking things out the park, man. It really resonates with me a lot. So let's go back to travel, because that intrigues me a lot. Anybody knows me, I enjoy my time because I've traveled a lot and I've seen different things. And you know, I love the country of Turkey when I was there. I love my time there. I love England. You know, I had a great time when I was in England, just doing different things there. What is your future goals as far as traveling? I mean, what I know you said that you've been in so many countries and you're waiting for other countries to open back up. But what are your future goals as far as, and besides building in Cyprus? But what is your future goals as far as traveling?
To be clear, I do not and will not have this goal of like visiting every country in the world. Like that's not the thing. It was never the thing. The thing was immersing myself in cultures and connecting. If you've ever heard me talk about freedom principles, financial freedom, time freedom, geographic freedom, which is what we're talking about, Aaron. But then there's freedom of purpose. I ain't a police officer for the money. And then, but the big one that people don't really talk about is freedom of relationships. We cannot grow as humans unless we connect with other people who can do things for us and with us. And not just saying that in the US, there are amazing people doing amazing things all over this planet. So for example, tomorrow I'm going up to see my buddy in the mountains in northern Lebanon. He started a winery on land that his father owned, and his dad died in the 70s in the war here. It's called Set Winery, S-E-P-T, the number 7 in French. He and I became friends because when I went there on a tour, I talked with him about how he started his business. I love talking to people who hustle and make things happen. We have common threads as people, so now we are the best of friends. So anytime I'm in town, I roll through. He came to DC and I hosted him at a couple of my restaurants, and we kind of went bar hopping, and I got some connections in DC, so we went club hopping and all those types of things. Not that I do it much, but I wanted him to have an experience as well. That's the stuff that I love, man. Like, I'll go to his kid's wedding one day, and hopefully he'll come to my kid's wedding, right? My goal as far as travel for the future is not to travel. It is to live it semi-permanently, if not permanently, in a foreign culture, because that is where I want to finish up. I know the US. I was born in New York, raised in Boston, live in DC. East Coast, I got it. I'm always going to be there. They're my peoples, my boys are there, my parents are there. I got that. But before I die, I want to say that, oh, for the last 5 years, I was based in Cyprus or based in Lebanon or based in Germany. I thought I was going to be Germany for a long time, but I did so much military service out of Ramstein that I feel like I know it now. So, it's not for me to necessarily experience more than I did, but that's the goal. Like, where's Mo? Oh, he's at his house. He's building a community, and he has donated 15% of the properties to people in need, in Cyprus. Like, that's the level where I want to play, and I'm trying to figure it out now.
Okay. So anybody wants to ask Mr. Maurice a question, please do. Go ahead, Kenneth. I see your hands raised.
Hey, Maurice, great presentation and great story. Just a question, you mentioned the financial freedom as part of you traveling worldwide, but how about like sort of responsibility? Like, how do you manage your condos and your investments here in the States? Do you use tech, or do you use trusted agents back here? Or how do you do that? Because I know tech is very big these days, allowing digital nomads. So,
great question. I am talking to you guys on my Mac, and I have this cell phone. Okay, my entire business and personal life are all automated. Everything. I am a minimalist at heart. I don't receive mail anywhere. It comes to an online interface. I will not engage in any business that technically requires me to physically be somewhere all the time. So in answer to your question, Kenneth, I automate I will take 3-4 months, work extremely hard to automate everything around every property we own or that I own. I will not hire employees. I'll only hire virtual employees and third-party property managers. Here's why. I could probably, like Quattro Capital, the company that I started in January of 2020, we're going to do 100 million in acquisitions this year. No problem. We're almost halfway now. I could hire employees and it would make me have to physically be there to do certain things. But my life comes first, like Aaron was talking about. Aaron knows me very well in that real estate powers my life. My life is not real estate. So I have done everything to create processes, automation, tools, international cell phone plans. I literally just checked my personal mail a second ago and found a $8,000 check that I got to cash. So I click the button and that check is being sent to my bank automatically, right? I can do everything virtually. That is a value for me, man. I don't want my Philogene on the side of a building just so I can puff up my chest and say I did this. Nah, man, I want to be floating around the world, having geographic freedom, meeting people like you guys, experiencing. So it's all process and automation. Lots of tools, but you're right, Kenneth, or Ken, lots of tools.
Hey, Maurice, how you doing?
Hey, dude.
Thank you for the awesome presentation. So you're saying the mail and everything's automated. What mail service are you using for the automation? What do you use for the, excuse me, what kind of automation do you use for the management of your buildings?
So as we're speaking, I'm going to pull something up because I think it's important. For syndication, we use a tool called Syndication Pro. And that pretty much automates everything I got to do with investors coming online. Just tonight, we finished our syndication documents with our attorney for the 128 unit that we're closing next week. I need to send out an email. It will go automated to the 35 people who invested in the property. It's going to tell them your syndication documents are ready. They're ready for e-sign. They just got to log into their portal and get it done. My only interaction was talking to the attorneys on the phone, reviewing the documents, loading them, and clicking send on an email to tell investors to go do it. Like, that's power. And even if you have a deal or any business venture, like if you want to run a Subway restaurant shop because that's your value and you like being physically in one location, because people do like routine, and I understand that. I wouldn't actually, I kind of want to own a Subway. It's a funny thing, but I would do it for a very short amount of time and then somehow find a way to automate that, because my life is experiencing the world. My life is spending time with my kids. My life is spending time with my significant other. But here, Aaron, if you can find a way to enable screen sharing, I'll show the troops something.
Good to go.
But yeah, Lawrence, if that, hopefully that answers your question. I mean, everything that I do is around automation. So some of the tools: EarthClass Mail for mail, Syndication Pro for managing investors and syndications. We use Loom, Loom, for instructional videos. So for example, if you guys needed me to show you like a financial spreadsheet or something, Maurice, how do I use this underwriting spreadsheet to do a property? I would log into Loom, put the spreadsheet on my screen, Loom will record my face, and I'll do like a 2-minute recording showing you in the spreadsheet what to do, where to do, That's 3 minutes, and I'll email it to you. We don't need to come on a Zoom meeting for 30 minutes for me to walk you through a spreadsheet. I can just send an email. I send voice notes all the time through SpeakPipe. Try speakpipe.com. The reason I send voice notes through email and not necessarily through phone, you got to respect people's time and space and distance. But sometimes to get things across to investors or people that I care about, them hearing your voice through an email is a really good thing. What else do we use? Everything, obviously everything online banking purposes. So I just checked the escrow account for the deal we have next week. Do we have the $2.5 million in there to get the deal done? We do. So then I took care of a couple things. Everything's got to be online and automated. Everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we spend, and I spend for my personal life, for lifestyle, I will spend money for that stuff. Oh no, I'm going to save money. Well, no, automate your life. Get rid of junk. Get rid of junk, whether it's in your home or on your computer or in your car. Anything that's unnecessarily around just slows you down. Simplicity is a key to good business and good life. Complexity is the death of everything. It really is.
Hi, my name is Claudia. It's a great information. So how did you know, like when you went through the stages, like starting with the condos and moving on to like multifamily, then to syndications, how did you know like where you were at the end of like that stage to go to the next one? And did you have a mentor or coaching throughout like this process?
That's a great question. I did not have a mentor for the single family stuff that I did. I didn't have anybody. Looking back on it, that was a mistake, but I will still never change it because it led me to where I got to. And it was, it was pseudo depressive, to be honest, because I was always, I was always on my own. However, when I flipped to multifamily in 2015, I just knew, Claudia, because I had hit the end of the road. When you have enough money where you realize you have enough money to live on, you start to realize very quickly, life is not about money. It really, really isn't. And I know that sounds, I don't know, like high acidity or whatever, but it's not. I needed a new challenge. I just wasn't growing as a person. So multifamily seemed to be the next iteration. So I joined a program. I did the program on my own for about 2 years, and then I paid for a mentor. That particular mentor, while he did a good job, the value I had with him was mindset shift. He wasn't very good from details around multifamily perspective. But what he helped me do was get over limiting beliefs, and he helped me get my first deal done. And once I got my first deal done, then 4 more followed that year. And now I've done, 22, 23 multifamily deals at this point. So I did get a mentor. I have a business mentor now. I probably spend anywhere from 50 to 75 grand a year on mentors and education. It matters. Mentors just accelerate what it is you're trying to do. So, I'm not saying you need to go pay the amount of money I'm paying. What I'm suggesting is get help. That can be in the form of a book, podcast, Google, videos, these awesome meetup groups that Aaron does and Lawrence does. You gotta get yourself around people who have already done what it is that you're trying to do. So yes, I've used mentors, I've leveraged them, and I'm even coaching some people now, but I don't coach on real estate, I coach on lifestyle related stuff because that's the most important thing to me, helping people escape the W-2. Cool.
Next person. Greg, I know you got a question. Come on, man. That's what you're here for. Come on, Greg. Air Force to Air Force, Greg. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think you turned the screen sharing on, Aaron.
Yeah, I did.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so check this out. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
I see it.
All right, so this is EarthClass Mail. This is that mail interface I was telling you about. So here's something that came in. Okay, I got a letter from the Veterans Administration. That I want to read. So I'll hit scan. Usually it's not a check, so I'll shred it. They'll do it in black and white, and then they'll shred it when they're done, and the scan will stay. I click submit, and then that orange thing means that they're scanning it for me, and they'll let me know. Other stuff that I have scanned already, like here, I got a bill from Baltimore Gas and Electric. I have no idea why I got it. Oh, the new house. I got a bill from Baltimore Gas and Electric. Here's the bill, because I just started on this property. I don't need this anymore. They still have it in paper form, paper on hand. So what I'll do is I'll shred this, but I'll keep the scan just like that. So all this crap, instead of going to my house, it comes here. I can manage it from overseas. I have this for every single property, every single business that I have. So it lets you manage it. So I hope that helps. I mean, it's literally one of the most beautiful things I've ever employed to make my life as free as possible.
That was EarthClass Mail.
EarthClass Mail. Yeah, and there's plenty services like that. There's iMail, there's EarthClass Mail, there's RoboMail. EarthClass Mail is a little bit pricey, but for the organization, for how powerful it is, 100%. I had a sweatshirt delivered to them from my high school because I spoke from my high school during Martin Luther King weekend. Obviously, I don't want to shred my sweatshirt. So you can click forward, and they forwarded the sweatshirt. Their facility is in Oregon. They forwarded that sweatshirt to my house. I paid like $8 for them to send it by FedEx. But I want all my stuff going there. So if I want it, they can forward it, or I can email it to me. Or if it's a physical thing, I can get that as well.
And that one mail address stays with you constantly, regardless of where you are at in the world. Like if you're in Turkey for 4 months, then Cyprus for 3, and then back to the East Coast. That is it. The address based in Oregon?
No, it's a PO box. That particular box that you were looking at just now is a PO box based in DC. Yeah, it's just their facility is out in Oregon, but you can have a PO box address. If you need a physical street address, you can pay a little bit more for a physical street address, and they process everything for you.
Hey Maurice, this is Greg. Yeah, that mailbox actually, yeah, because there's other companies that actually offers not quite that much service. I tried one with is it mailbox.com, something like that. And so, but from what you're saying, this one, they're able to scan it. You're able to actually then manage your mail.
Yeah,
it's great. I've been looking for an alternative. Thank you, though. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the information. And anywhere in the world, you can use it on your app, on an app type. Am I correct?
Yeah. I mean, I can see mail on the app if I want, but I check mail once a month. I don't have time for mail. I mean, this is the thing. Time is so priceless, right? So when we have 100 pieces of mail coming to our house in a month at home, it's taken away from spending time with the kids or your wife or your husband or having a beer or like I look at mail once a month. There is nothing that's coming in the mail that is like that important. But if there is, then you can put a rule that, hey, if anything comes with this name on it or this word, send me an email and it will alert you. Automation. I mean, I spend time. Now I had to set all that up and it probably took me 2 months to get used to it. And now I'm an expert at it. But the time that it saves me, which I'm now spending raising money from investors, which time is more valuable to you? You want to be messing around with the mail, or you can pay $100 so you're not messing around with it, such that you can use that 1 hour to go raise $100,000 from an investor and help their family meet their goals. My time is extremely valuable nowadays, so using any automation tools is a good thing.
So I do got a question for Greg then, because Greg is getting ready to retire from the Air Force. Okay.
Right on.
So what kind of advice would you give to him? And I know, man, we're going to celebrate hard just like we did with Lawrence, retired for 40 years. We're going to celebrate you, Greg.
Yeah.
He's coach, he's a CASMA student like myself. So I definitely got a big up Greg. But what kind of advice would you give him now with him going to a new journey? Once again, he's already doing real estate, but what's the advice you would give to him right now with his new environment that he's in now?
Yeah, I mean, that is such a subjective thought, because even with the people that I coach, the first thing I ask is like, what's the goal? Some people have a goal of getting $1 billion. I respect that. Other people have a goal of just getting enough passive income to be free. I respect that. If you're getting out of the middle, you're retiring from active duty, Greg?
Yes.
All right, right on. Okay, so you're about to get, however many thousands of dollars on a defined benefit pension plan. Like, you have a leg up over other people. That's no joke. Maybe you have enough for your goals to live life your way. I have no idea. So I don't have a specific piece of advice for Greg, but what I'd say, Aaron, is like, people need to understand what their goals are. Stop worrying about everybody else on this phone call and competing with them. Don't compete, create your lifestyle, create what you want. If I would have competed, then I would be a partner at the firm I've been at for 25 years, working 100-hour weeks. I didn't want to be partner. That was too much. I'm good working 20 to 40 hours a week, getting a high salary and using that salary to fuel real estate. I never cared about the titles. I cared about creating my lifestyle. So for all you guys, What is it that you are trying to accomplish? Go find people who will help you create that particular goal, that particular lifestyle. If it's a couple $1,000, you don't need to be doing 500 unit apartment deals just because Freddie down the street is doing that. Don't copy people. Just go after what your goal is. To this day, it really irks me when I see on LinkedIn or when I go to real estate conferences or whatever, people touting, oh, I have 5,000 units. Okay, like who cares? What matters is your goal. So I have less than 5,000 units, but I've created a lifestyle for myself, which I think is just on par of a millionaire or a billionaire's lifestyle. I can go anywhere in the world, anytime I want, for any reason, manage my business from afar, make my money. I don't need to go just because the next guy has this to go do that. So no specific advice, just figure out what your particular goal is. Don't compete with people. Get a coach to help you craft a plan to create that goal. Use consistency and time as your two main business partners. Connect with other people, execute on that bad boy, and make it happen. And one more thing. This shiny object syndrome shit that's going on. Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, gold. Oh my God, I got it. Oh, dude, just stay on your plan, achieve your goal for you, whatever that means, and live your best life now. If everyone is worried about comparing themselves to other people, and I just look at that shit like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Cyprus somehow. Like I'm just so over, all this competition stuff that's happening. So
I'll tell you this, I haven't seen Mr. International look so happy on my meetup in a long time, man. So he gave you thumbs up for that, man. So but you speak so much truth, man. So much truth. I mean, you don't have to compete against. And one thing, being part of this UOB network, our main motto is not to compete against each other. Not have no competition. You have a ceiling when you compete against others, but you have an unlimited ceiling when you are collaborating with people, collabing together to knock out deals. And that's the environment we don't want. It's always competing. You're not going to go that far.
No, you won't. And I'll give one more example. And I know we're at the top of the hour, but so Quattro Capital is my company. We do sponsor people. I'll just throw that out there, especially if you have experience. We give a significant amount of the acquisition fee away. I love it because what it's doing is helping someone else create their version of freedom for the future. And, this Christy Keaton, if you can find her on LinkedIn, or she was just on Jerome's podcast, I've sponsored her 3 times in the last 5 months. I've helped her close, what is she on now? She's on 190 units, and we're getting ready to put a contract on a 240 unit complex. And her acquisition fees will be somewhere north of 400,000. I could do the deal on my own. I could. I don't want to. I'd rather split it with someone, create with the person. Christy, you do the hustle. I got your back here. I'll deal with the banks. I'll deal with the investors. Create together. Everybody wins. Of course, I could own more if I just did it on my own. It's selfish, it's stupid, and we should be elevating people, pulling people up the ladder. That's the only reason I'm up at 2 a.m. in the morning trying to talk to y'all. I get nothing from this outside of massive fulfillment because I got to tell people about my story, and hopefully you take something from it. So I'm just really encouraging y'all that you stay the hell away from people who are always competing. It's so silly. Get around people who want to collaborate with you, uplift you. You'll just get farther faster. And if it has to be a mentor, fine. But groups like this are a great thing. So that's just me being on my soapbox just for a second, because I'm annoyed by that stuff.
Well, man, I mean, just look at the chat right now. Look at the love you get on this chat right here. Everybody is loving your message, man. And I don't want to hold up your time, man. I know it's super late there. You're
Okay.
welcome to stay as long as you want. We're gonna go to the roll call and then breakout rooms, and then we have after party. And After party is kind of wild, man. No recording, and we just talk all things real estate for as long people want to, man. So we've been on for 2 hours, a little bit longer than 2 hours with the after party. I'm not saying that that should be you, but I'm just saying.
No, I'm gonna take it to the bed, but
Right.
and let me just see if anyone else has any last one thing or something, and then
Yeah, Rhonda have a question for you.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you. I'm so
Hi.
sorry I didn't get a chance to get the beginning. I had a veteran and the VA I was talking to, but I was wondering, do you do any referrals for coaching? I definitely have been looking for someone to coach me in real estate. And so perhaps you have some referrals. Thank you.
I mean, yeah, sure. It just depends on what you are trying to do. If you're interested, I'll put it in the chat, but if you go to thequattroway.com and just grab like 10 minutes on my calendar or 15 minutes on my calendar, that's the thing, like, I want to coach, but for what? What is the goal? What are you trying to accomplish for your family and for you and your goals? And so I'd be happy to spend 15 minutes with you and try and find you the right person, whether it's me or somebody else, or it all depends on your goals.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, what's the link again? You said Quattro?
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, I want to say this too. Last year I reached out to Maurice and I wanted to, I spent those 15 minutes with him, and that really gave me a path, a mindset path of where to go to. I was just starting off with my commercial, and just hearing his story and just talking with him is beneficial. So I would recommend that for anybody to talk with him, because he gave you so much knowledge and so much insight that it gave me a path to where I wanted to at right now. So I just appreciate him. Yeah, I appreciate you always, man. And I told you that we're gonna continue this path, because I love to be around people like you and John and others like that who are doing it, not only in the community but also are doing it for a lot of us, representing a lot of people, and I really appreciate that, man. So thank you so much, man. Be on this meetup, and
my pleasure.
get some sleep. I appreciate the sacrifice, man.
And I'm just gonna throw in the chat real quick. Here's my email address if you guys need anything, and then here's my phone number. That's my direct cell. Talking live is not always easy, but texting and voice text, I do it all day long with everyone. So if there's a way that I can help you, or you're looking for a resource or something, there's my info. I'm here to help people. I got nothing in this except for trying to help people the way that people helped me. So I hope that helps. And Aaron, anything else you need, brother, you just reach out.
Yes, sir. I will. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
All right. I'll holler at you.
Yes, sir. Man, so wow, my phone out. So man, that was I'm going to watch the replay myself. So I recommend anybody to watch the replay of this. Maurice has dropped so much today, and I really appreciate that from him. And please, if you think it's beneficial, please reach out to friends, family, and because it's going to YouTube page tonight. So please, somebody who might be thinking about being passive income or things like that, please show on a YouTube page this great message from Maurice. Like you said, you don't have to be a millionaire, but like you said, if you can not have the bills down and still make enough money, $4,000 or $5,000, that's still good enough. And we have to get out of that mindset. Just like we talk about the mindset about being competitive, that mindset of you got to be like the Joneses is so true. And even on a lower level, I know some people might sacrifice not have the big cars, but at the same time, they still think I got to have $400,000, $500,000 to get to a goal. But if you're continuing to have passive income coming in and can manage it the right way, like you said, it's gold. So yeah, I just love what he said. All right, so let's go to roll call. Then we'll quickly go to the breakout room, and then the after party, which I'll turn the recording off. So let's get started. So matter of fact, next week my guest speaker will be Mike Foster, who is part of Active Beauty Passive Income. He has a podcast, Active Beauty Passive Income. They are a military affiliated real estate group that helps a lot of military out. So look up adpi.com. Seven Figure Flipping with Bill Allen. Great guy. Bill Allen had the REI Live Veterans Network Conference. Great conference for free. Loved it. That's how I met Kenneth, Michael Barnhart, Susie, and others. Great military affiliated conference, and great thing by Bill Allen. The War Room Mastermind Group was me, Claudia, Kenneth a part of, and others like Bud and others. On $50 a month, great information from David Pereira, Stuart Garsner. If you guys want information, please get with me. Let's go to civilians, biggerpockets.com, the biggest real estate basic venture in the world. If you want to do all things real estate, go to biggerpockets.com. It's easy to be a member. Great information on there. Jamal King's Make Real Estate Real. Make Real Estate Real. $1,000 course. It goes A to Z in real estate by Jamal King and his people. So if you want information, please get with me about Jamal King's Make Real Estate Real. Finally, Ring, Wholesale Real Estate Investment Group. I'm part of that group with others. And we have chapters in Washington State, LA, New York, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, and St. Louis, so, and others. So if you want more information, please get with me about Wholesale Real Estate Investment Group. Great information. I purchased one of my properties due to group. So like I say, you want information, please get with me. Okay, so, and finally, if you love the information you receive, please give us a 5-star rating on Meetup, and please spread the word about this meetup. This is an educational platform. I just want people to learn and build generational wealth for themselves and their families. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording.
Aaron, just before I've been watching, when I started out my career, I've been watching millionaires for over a decade. And pretty much everything Maurice said is hitting on all the stuff that I learned over that time period. It's consistency, it's time, it's being clarity of mind, all that type of stuff that he was talking about is exactly right. Like, it is inch perfect, all the stuff that he said. And I think, like, if anybody's just kind of curious, or this is the first time you're hearing that kind of stuff, if you listen to successful people over a long period of time, it'll sound like all the same stuff that he talked about. Things about caring about others, sharing of information. When you start to learn stuff, just genuinely share it with everybody else without looking for anything in return. It's all those core philosophies and attitudes that he's like on par. It's perfect.
I agree, man. I definitely agree, man. I definitely agree. I couldn't say them some more better.
Maurice was on fire. I told y'all, strap your seatbelt on. I almost fell in my chair a few times because he hit me upside my head.
Yeah. So guys, if please watch the replay of this, or spread the word about this. You just got to record it.